Hello, everyone. My name is Henry. Welcome back to My Europe. For those who are here for the first time, My Europe is a digital event series that is a collaboration of several Europe Directs, but also the Institut Français Aachen and the Karlspreis Stiftung and the Karlspreis Academy. At My Europe, we welcome young guests who give us great insights into their respective countries and work on their own focus, a topic close to their heart. Today, that will be Redi Asabella. He's a born Albanian, has studied administration and social policy in Tirana. I think he will tell us more about him in just a second. This will be an interactive event, and at any point, there will be the opportunity to ask questions. To do so, you may use the chat. Me and the team will pick up your questions and pass it on to our guest. Be sure, in the end, we will always have time for answering all of your questions. The session will be recorded and uploaded in our YouTube channel. You can visit it. There are a few interesting events in the past, so if you want to catch up, please do so. So much for technicality in advance. As you know, today we will talk about Albania, and to test what you already know, Redi has made us Kahoot about his home country. So I'm really pleased to welcome our guest and quizmaster, Redi Asabella. Redi, nice to have you here with us today.
Hi, thank you very much, Henry. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. I'm Redi, and as Henry said, I'm Albanian. I was born and raised there and spent most of my life there, although now I'm moving to study a bit more around Europe. I was a student in Albania as well. I studied administration and social policy, and then I moved to Italy, where I studied languages. And that's where I've met a team of Italians that work with theater and social inclusion, with which I won the Charmaine Youth Prize for Italy in 2022. And that's why I'm here, basically. And when Karina and the people from Europe Direct Aachen, they asked me if I wanted to speak briefly in a session about my country, I was really happy to be able to do so. So I'm really happy to have everyone here. And as Henry said, please, at any moment you will have questions or anything you want to ask, I'm more than happy to. So I think without further ado, we can start with a quiz, Henry. What do you say?
Yeah, sure. I have a competitive nature in me, so I will be participate.
Okay. So I'm gonna share the screen with the Kahoot. So I hope everyone will be able to see it. Okay. We have already some participants.
Mine's still loading.
Okay.
Maybe that's
we're gonna give 1 minute
as well. Oh, have there people left?
Yeah, I see that there's. Oh no, it's.
Okay, perfect.
It's 7 people.
Because joining, Leah is joining. Yeah, I still have the little circle thingy.
Oh, it's not loading then? Okay.
Yeah, but maybe I mean, I have a little advantage because you showed me the quiz earlier.
No, we don't say that, Henry.
So maybe it's more fair if I keep hyping you up.
Okay. So maybe let's wait for another 30 seconds, and if not, we can start with.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I will expand the QR code for once more. There's loading. Maybe I should also share the pin, but I don't know if.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Yeah.
On the screen. 79630.
Yeah. Sonia says that it's still loading. So.
Marlena also says loading.
Okay, we have one more. We have Tom. That's ended.
Yeah, in case it doesn't work for the remaining participants, maybe you can write your guess here in the chat. So you're not on the scoreboard, but
yeah, we can add the questions in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Okay, give me maybe another second, and then we can go, because.
Yeah. I think we should get started.
Do it. Yeah. Okay, so we will start. And the first question is a relatively easy one. Most of you should already know the answer. But yeah. What is the capital city of Albania? And you have 20 seconds to answer.
But the faster you are, the more points you get.
Yeah. So we'll have our first. We have 7 answers already, and we have 5 correct answers. Okay, so the capital of Albania is Tirana. Tirana is the capital city and the most important city in Albania nowadays. It's been its capital from 1920. Before that, the capital had been Durrës and Shkodra, which are very important cities in Albania as well. But since we wanted to have a bit more protected capital, it's Durrës and Shkodra, they're quite vulnerable when it comes to being protected, because Durrës and Shkodra, they're very close to the sea. They decided they're going to keep the capital a bit more inland, so it can be a bit safer when it comes to invasions. That didn't really work when in 1939 Italians wanted to invade Albania, and they did so. But the idea was to have a bit more protected capital, and now it's the home of almost half the population of Albania. It's more or less 1 million people living in Tirana and the area around it, which makes up for almost 50% of the total population of the country. Officially, the city has 800,000 people, but during the day, as we know, with many big cities, everyone comes to work there, and in the evening they usually leave. It's also the economic heart of the country, since it has most institutions and lots of companies that are based there, be that Albanian or coming from abroad. So let's go on with the second question. And we have Louise, who was the first one to answer, and she's, for the moment, the first. So, Albania shares borders with 4 countries. Which of these is not a neighbor of Albania? We have already almost all the answers. Yes, we have them all. And we still have 4 right answers, which is Italy. So basically, Albania is bordered with 4 countries by land. In the northwest with Montenegro, which is not on the list. Northeast is Kosovo. From the east with North Macedonia and the south and the southeast with Greece. We are very close to Italy. It's only 72 kilometers if you see it from the sea. And on a very good day, from the mountains in Albania, you can actually see the Italian coast, or vice versa. So it's very, very close. But we're not sharing a border with Italy. We are very good neighbors, but the sea is between us. And this links us to the next question, which is first we have to see who's. We still have a confirmation. Louise is still first, and a very quick answer as well. Congratulations, Louise. So next question is: which sea borders Albania to the west? So is it the Black Sea, the Adriatic Sea, the Baltic Sea, or the Ionian Sea? Oh, and I see from the answers in the chat, Sonia is also very good. She's also. Oh, wow. Okay. I think Sonia would win the moral winner of of the Kahoot, because she's answering very quickly, and so far it's been right. Let's see if this would be. Yep. So we are bordering. We have the Adriatic Sea, which is actually separating us from Italy. Albania is bordered by two seas. So from in the west is the Adriatic Sea, and the south it's the Ionian Sea, which we share with Greece and Italy as well. The Adriatic Sea is home to two of our main ports, so the Durrës port and the Vlora port, which are also very important for our trade and passenger transportations as well. And we really much like the sea. So we Albanians, we usually go in the summer to bathe there. Okay, so let's see how fast you've been, Louise. Oh no, Louise lost her her throne. So now Jojo is the first.
Yeah, and she's on fire, or he.
And let's go to the next question. So the next question is a true or false. Albania is one of the few countries in Europe where you can swim in the sea and ski in the mountains in the same day. So is it true or false? We'll see some answers. True. Six answers that are true. And it is indeed true. Albania is a really, really small country. It is basically smaller than Sicily. So we are a very small country, but nevertheless, we have lots of natural landscape that is very diverse. So you can go in the same day, within the span of a few hours, from skiing to swimming. I mean, it has to be a very, very good day to do both, because it has to be very cold in the mountains and quite warm in the sea to do it. But potentially you could. We have a lot of mountains in the country. 70% of the territory is made of hills and mountains, so it's quite high. And most of the let's say the plains are in the western part, close to the sea. So we have a few spots. One of them is close to my hometown, Korcha, and we do ski there. Although thanks to climate change, it's not going to be possible, I think, in a few years. But I mean, hopefully it will be available for a few years more at least. Okay, next question. Let's see. Jojo confirms the first place. Nice. And Luis keeps following. So the next question is: which ancient Roman road passed through Albania? This is, I understand, to be a bit more difficult than the other questions. Let's see if we have any history people that are passionate about the Roman Empire. So, okay, we have two correct answers. It's Via Egnatia. Via Egnatia was one of the most important roads in the Roman times, because it connected the two capitals. So it connected Constantinople with Rome. It went from nowadays Istanbul through all the Greek northern parts, and it went into Ohrid and some cities in Albania until Durrës. From there, you would have to take a boat, though, like we do today, to go on the other side, and we would go to Brindisi, and then from there you would go up to Rome, because we know that all roads lead to Rome, of course. Let's see if we have the same winners. We still have Jojo leading very confidently, and Armando is scaling up. So, yeah, Jojo has a streak with 5 correct answers in a row. Congrats, Jojo. So, we call our country Shqiperia. What does it really mean? Do you know? Let's see if we have. Okay, Land of the Eagles. Yes, we had one correct answer. We call it the Shqipe in a dialect of the north, especially means eagle. So since we have lots of biodiversity, Albania is also one of the most biodiverse countries in Europe. That's also because of the big range of, let's say, biodiverse habitats that we have in the country. But in the mountains, especially in the northern and eastern part, we do have lots of eagles, and that's why we like to call our country Shqiperia. I know that for most of foreigners, Albania is called Albania because of a tribe that lived in the central parts, which were the Alban. So that's why the name of Albania. But for us, it's Shqiperia. So yeah, we'll see who took the right answer. Oh, still Jojo. Wow. So, next question is, this is also a bit of a history. So, which UNESCO World Heritage Site is in Albania? Is it Dubrovnik, Berat, Matera, or Meteora? This might be more for people that have already been in Albania and have visited the place. And yes, Sonia, you're right. Berat is the right answer. Berat is the city of, as you can see from you could see from the picture, it's called the city of one on top of the other windows, because it's built in an Ottoman style. It's built in a hill, so it's built in a particular way around the hill. So you could actually, everyone from each of the houses had a view on the river, and it has quite a peculiar style. If you ever visit Albania, I really recommend for you to visit the city of Berat, and also the city of Gjirokastër, which is also part of the UNESCO World Heritage. So let's see if we still have Jojo. Yeah, nobody's gonna dethrone Jojo, I think. Keeps on going strong. So we are getting closer to the end of the quiz. So, what is the Albanian currency? If you had to pay something in Albania, eventually you had to pay with what? Lira, kuna, lek, or dinar? We don't use the euro, although it's widely accepted in the country nowadays. If you want to pay with euros, even in cash, you can pay. We're also transitioning from a mostly cash society to someone in between cash and, let's say, oh, three correct answers. So lek is our currency. It's named after. It's been chosen in the 1920s. It's a currency that has been established in the time of Zog Lekaimad, and it's also, some say it's related to Alexander the Great as well, known as Lekaimad, and it's in the very first Albanian banknotes, we had the image of Alexander the Great. So we trace it back to an ancient figure. So we still have Jojo leading. I think this is going to become a solo race, although Louise is not letting go either, and Tom is there as well. Let's move on to the the other question. So, which unique feature makes Albania's language special in Europe? Is it because it's part of the Romance language family? It uses a Cyrillic alphabet? It's a completely independent branch of the Indo-European family, or is it identical to Greek? So we have three correct answers. Yes, Albania has its own language, of course, and Albanian is very, very similar in structure to other Indo-European languages like Greek and Latin, but it's not a sister language to any of them. It has its own branch, and it's thought to be spoken in the region for, let's say, about 3 to 4 thousand years. Of course, we don't have many written proofs because it was transmitted mostly orally, but it has very unique features that make it quite unique in the Indo-European languages landscape. I'm also a linguist, so I'm sorry if I had to put that as well in the questions. And we have still Jojo, but Louise is there, only 200 points, and Tom has the highest answer streak of 3. Congrats, Tom. You're also very quick, very close. So the last two questions, the second to last, is this one. Albania is famous for a unique gesture. When Albanians nod their head up and down, what does it usually mean? Is it yes, no, hello, or maybe? Let's see. Okay, we have 4 right answers. Yes, when we do this, even though when I'm saying this and I'm nodding my head, I'm saying yes. For most of us, this is no. So don't be confused. Although it's a bit confusing when you come from Europe, when you nod your head up and down, we usually say no. And the very last question. Now this will determine, I think, who's going to be the winner. So we'll see how this went. Okay, Jojo keeps on confirming, and we still have Tom and Louise following. So, last question. It's a true or false question. Albania has one of the youngest populations in Europe. Is it true or false? Okay. Yes, we have all the right answers. So, yes, in Albania, we have one of the youngest populations in Europe. So, it's something in between 35 and 38 years old. And it's namely one of the youngest population, which I think is only contrasted by Kosovo, which is even younger in Europe when it comes to the age of the population. So let's see who's actually won. If we have a change, the podium. So third place, Tom. Nice, congrats, Tom. Then we have Louise, and well, I thought this was going to go this way. Jojo. Jojo is the winner. So yeah, thank you very much for everyone who participated. I hope you got to know some more things about Albania through the questions, and if you have some more, please ask them. So, speaking about the population of the country, I might as well now take the presentation. Stop sharing. So, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so I wanted to speak a bit more about the country and the population. It's true that we have one of the youngest populations in Europe. We have lots of people that are living in Tirana, as I said. Half of the population lives in Tirana, and interestingly, we have one of the highest approval rates when it comes to joining the European Union. 97% of Albanians they want to join the European Union. We see it as as a name that our government should follow. And I don't know any other country in the region, which is not in the EU, that has such a high approval rate. And also, I don't think we have any political party, be that from any from the center, right, or left, to be against the Albania going towards the union. And we've been working on that for quite some time now. Albania is one of the countries that has been a candidate member since almost 10 years now, and we're really working on it. We've signed recently an agreement with the European Union when it comes to opening the chapters of the accession. So we are now working towards that. We have lots of reforms that are done in the country, both politically and administratively. We have lots of new laws that are being implemented, namely in defense of nature. Although on that side, we will have to work a bit more. We have one of the wildest, one of the last wild rivers in Europe, which is the Vjosa River. That means that there are no dams currently in the river. It flows free from the mountains in Greece to the southern part of Albania in Vjosa. Albania is also, as I said, home to many young people that are actually living currently in the EU. I'm one of them, and I have many friends that have chosen to raise their capacities in European universities, or to test themselves in the European market, and started to live in many European countries. We are one of the most important communities in Italy after Romanians. It's almost 500,000 Albanians living in Italy currently, and that doesn't consider second generation migrants, which are raised and born in Italy, of course. We also have a big population of Albanians in Greece and also in Germany. We're not that important in those countries yet, but the country is interested more by let's say a development that is going very rapidly. I don't know if you've had the chance to visit Albania in the last years, but the development of the city in Tirana, especially, or the cities in general, is going very rapidly. I myself when I studied abroad in Rome, and I would come back after a certain time, I would see the city change a lot, and which is not the case with European cities anymore. I suppose it's much more stable, I have to say. We've come a long way. We've been from the 1945 to 1991. We've been part of the communist bloc, as they say it. Although we've been, let's say, a separate part of the bloc, we were very critic towards the bloc, and we said, well, it's us Albanians who's going to teach you how to be a communist. So we in 1967 we did not have any more relations with the Soviet Union, and so we started getting into stronger ties with China. So we had a very strong partner in China, although that partnership also ended in the late 1980s, and we were a very isolated country during that time. We were people didn't know what was happening in Albania, and it was very hard to leave the country. Many people had to have special permissions from the government in order to leave the country. Very few people were allowed to actually to study abroad, and of course they were let's say kind of obliged to come back to the country to give back if they were allowed to study. But that has changed, as I said. We have many young people nowadays trying to leave the country to find better opportunities and eventually come back or not. It depends on their preference in the end. It goes at a very fast rate at the moment. We have, as I said, one of the youngest populations in Europe, but it's fastly declining as well. That is because, of course, we don't have as many children as our previous generations did, like everywhere in Europe, I suppose. And we also have many young people, usually migrating, so that in some sort brings up the age, the Mayan age of the country. Um, we have a very important tourism sector flourishing, especially in the last years, which has been pushing our economy a lot as well. Um, I'm sure whoever is on Instagram has at least seen one reel with amazing videos and pictures from Albania's nature, be that mountains or the beautiful Albanian Riviera, which is in the south, in the Ionian Sea. We have, as I said, we are a small country, but we have lots of beautiful natural landscape. And one thing we are certainly known about is our hospitality. It's very hard for us not to offer a coffee, or just to have if someone is simply hiking. I love hiking as well. So whenever I'm hiking in the mountains and you stop in a village, you will very, very rarely find someone not inviting you into their own place to have a coffee or little glass with a transparent liquid. We love our rakia as well. Rakia is it's a schnapps for Germans. We make that out of grapes usually, but it's also made of other fruit, and we love to drink that with our coffee. Many people, especially the older generations, they usually have it for breakfast, which I think is a bit harsh, to be honest. But I mean, who am I to judge? So it's also very interesting to know that we have a very let's say Mediterranean diet when it comes to food. So it's based a lot of around lots of veggies and also meat and fish. And since we have always been at a crossroad between civilizations. We also have lots of influences from the Middle East and Turkey, so we have lots of plates that come from there. We love our sweets, which should be made with sugar syrup or honey, and that makes it really, really sweet. And but now, since we're open to globalization, we also have very nice pasta and pizza restaurants, which I think we have to thank our Italian neighbors. Um, as I said, Tirana is a very fast growing city, and it's nowadays a hub for also lots of people coming and living there. So it's also a fulcrum of expats. More and more now you hear around the city people speaking other languages other than Albanian, and it allows us also to open up a bit after the communism era. It's not uncommon to find Albanians who speak other languages, like myself. When we were kids, especially the kids of my generation, we had the opportunity to watch a lot of Italian television. So most of people my age or a bit older, I'm 30, so around born in the 90s, let's say, they speak Italian, and they speak very good Italian usually. Although now it's shifting more towards English, and for many people, since migration to Germany is preferred a lot nowadays, we do study a lot of German as well. So I'm rambling a bit. I'm trying to say as many things as I can, and without having let's say a firm point of an aim. Let's say I'm trying to present the country as much as I can. And what I wanted to say as well is that it's also interesting to know that we have one of the oldest in terms of let's say populations. We've been let's say colonized or conquered by many kingdoms or empires, like the Roman Empire or the Ottoman Empire. and we've been heavily influenced by that in terms of culture and also in our language. But somehow we've kept our roots, and we, as I said, we still speak Albanian, which is one of the oldest languages spoken in Europe, and we've kept our traditions. We have a certain way of getting married, which is quite long, I have to say. It can last up to a week. We start on Monday usually, and then every night on from Monday till Friday, we dance at the houses of the groom and the bride, and then on Saturday usually we have the groom no the bride's party. So everyone would gather at a certain place. It was usually the bride's house, and everyone would party there. And a delegation of people from the groom's family would come to the party, celebrate, and then they would take the bride to their house, because usually that's what happened. And we would have another party on Sunday, which would close up the festivities. Nowadays it's changing a bit. Now we do only one party, because of course it's exhausting to party for a week. People have also got to work. Yeah, and we love our music. We have traditional music like every country, I suppose, and we have very beautiful traditional costumes, which are usually worn in during festivities. It's also because nowadays it's very difficult to find people who actually wear them on a day-to-day basis. But I think that's also the trend for all the globe. I think I've spoken enough, and I would like to open up a bit. I don't know, Henry, what you say?
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the chat. Until now, you had no big holes in your rambling, as you said. Um, yeah, but yeah, I found that particularly interesting with the marriage. I did not know that you would parties for 7 days straight.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's becoming less and less popular, of course, because I mean, someone has to you cannot party for a week, but it used to be like that. I remember when I was a kid, we had some parties like that. We would go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at the house, and there were people coming and eating and drinking and dancing until we had
Mm.
a big party.
Yeah, when did you last attend a marriage?
I'm very sad. Thank you for asking. I'm very sad. It's been a few years now. I think it's been 4 or 5 years I haven't gone to a marriage. It's because my friends aren't getting married. My relatives, I think they're all older than me, so they got already married. So I'm gonna have to push some of my friends who've been in a relationship for a long time to actually get married and have a big party where we can all dance.
Yeah, sure hope so. Yeah.
Mm.
You talked about movement from the young people to the country, from the country into other European countries. Um, what do you think motivates people to, especially the young people, to visit or live in other countries such as yourself?
Mm. I think we have also a sort of an internal movement, as every
Mhm.
country, I suppose. Like it's the demographic movement in all over the world. So we have lots of people leaving the smaller towns or the villages and going towards the cities. Namely, I know a bit the region as well, so the Western Balkans, and I think most of the capitals in the Western Balkans, they hold relatively half of a third of the population. It's because I think it's also a heritage from the communist times. We have a very centralized thinking.
Mhm.
So most of the institutions that are in Tirana, for Albania at least, and lots of businesses, since there are most of the universities they're in Tirana as well. So people would actually, young people would finish high school from all cities, like I did myself. You finish high school and you would go to Tirana, or you would go directly abroad to study. And it's of course because of the higher quality when it comes to higher education. In Tirana you have the best universities in Albania, and of course you have lots of very good universities in Europe, so people would want to get the maximum that they can from that. So you have uh, as in everywhere in the region, I think unfortunately it's what we call a brain drain. It's
Mm.
really happening in Albania as well. Lots of well-educated people are actually leaving the country because they find better paid jobs in these countries. Although there is a trend of digital nomads, not only locals but also people that actually come from these countries, that from other countries like Europe or the US, as I said, they come to live in Albania, and that is because it was, or it is still, a cheaper destination for most of Europeans. And that is positive in certain aspects, but also negative in others, because it has raised a lot the prices when it comes to rent and groceries for people that actually live there, that don't have, let's say, very very good wages when it comes to paying the basic stuff.
Yeah. And is there a mentality to come back to the country eventually?
Unfortunately, it's going lower and lower.
Mm.
Usually, especially in the 90s, the idea was, okay, I'm going to leave the country for a few years. I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to make some money on the side, and then I'm going to go back to Albania or I would send a lot of money to my family. Nowadays, it's not only young people but also young families which
Mm.
actually move abroad. So ideally, you live in the country that you move, or you move somewhere else, but it's fewer and fewer people who have the intention of coming back to Albania. Although the government is taking initiatives in promoting young people's ideas. You would have, for example, if you're a new business coming from someone who lived abroad, you would have less taxes. So if you want to start a business in Albania, you're sort of facilitated, especially in the tourism sector. As I said, it's becoming a growing trend. We have more and more people that are actually starting businesses. We have a growing sector in agritourism. I worked recently in rural development,
Mm.
and we see more and more of these initiatives growing in rural Albania.
Yeah. Another thing, in other parts of Europe, the Irish or British islands, they have a banter, a love-hate relationship, or the Scandinavian countries, because they're fighting in winter sports or something, because they're all of them are good at it. Is there a similar thing in Albania with a neighboring country, or maybe even with a not neighboring country?
I think like every country that has neighbors, it's usually the neighbors that are closer that you have kind of a beef with.
Yeah.
We have, let's say, uh, let's say, in when it comes to sports and when it comes to jokes, we do have beefs with all the neighboring countries. Maybe with Kosovo, since they're also Albanian. We don't have, we love them more. Probably the neighbors that we love more, together with Italians, probably because of their food and their fashion and their beautiful country. But yes, I would say we have the beef when it comes to football with Serbia or Montenegro. But yeah, we try to keep it to sports.
Yeah. You talked about football. Is football the most popular sport, and what are the others behind
Yeah,
it?
yeah, definitely. Football is, I mean, whenever Albania is playing, and I lived in Tirana recently, and
Mm.
whenever the national team was playing, you could go freely around the city because nobody was on the streets, everybody was watching the games.
Yeah.
And since our national team is becoming better in the recent years, we've participated in 2 European Cups, which is a major achievement for a small country like ours. We start to follow it more and more. So, yeah. And other than that, I think we have a very good tradition when it comes to individual sports. We have some very good runners who have also won medals, and
Mm.
weightlifting. But these are not very popular. It's just that we apparently we have some very good individuals who are very good at it. Other team sports, I would say basketball and volleyball. I also liked, but it's not like let's say a major sport in the country. We're not very good at it on the international field.
Yeah. We have a question from the audience to the
Yeah,
the
I see it
yeah.
from Statut Français.
Do you think for everyone? Do you think that if Albania joined the EU, people would come back to work and live there?
I think that as with every other country, I mean, a good example of that is Romania or Bulgaria. Whenever you join the EU, you certainly have more opportunities. You're part of a bigger market. That would be an incentive, in my opinion, and people would eventually be more. Let's say drawn to coming back, but it's also about national politics. So I don't believe that if we join the EU, every problem that we have in Albania is going to be solved. Actually, it has to be the other way around. We will try to solve our problems and to make it as better as we can in terms of legislation, in terms of let's say policies, in order for people to be actually in the first place not keen on leaving the country. Then it's obviously a more difficult discourse when it comes to coming back, because of course that takes more effort, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. A more personal question for me.
Yeah.
You briefly talked about food, about Albanian food. Is there a trend to more plant-based food coming to the country, or is it hard for vegetarian or vegans to travel Albania?
I mean, I'm a vegetarian, so it's been 7.5 years, and I'm
Mm.
going to tell you a little joke. When I first told my mother I was going to become a vegetarian, I was actually a vegetarian. And she said, "Okay, no problem." So I came back to visit her because at the time I was living in Rome. She had cooked chicken and potatoes in the oven, and I was like, "But this is not a vegetarian." But she was like, "But this is not meat. This is chicken." So yeah, it's true that we also have a lot of places that are plant-based, or at least vegetarian, I would say. It's easier to be a vegetarian rather than a vegan, but we do have vegan options. We have lots of plates that are done with lentils or beans. Of course, we have a very good climate when it comes to growing veggies. We have a very, I mean, it's very hot in Albania, especially in the western part. So we can grow mostly everything that grows in the Mediterranean climate. So we have lots of veggies. We love salads.
Yeah.
And in the summer, tomatoes are really good usually because they're really flavorful, and
Yeah.
they make really great salads with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think it's becoming easier and easier for us as well. But I mean, as in Eastern Europe countries, we do love our meat.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have another question from the audience. Johanna asked, what are the most important reforms that Albania still need to implement in order to join the EU?
Okay, so we have a new minister. So aside from the AI MP that we have,
We will talk about it.
we will talk about it. We have an anti-corruption ministry, which is actually a way of the government to push for policies that is sort of ban micro-corruption, which has been a long-term problem with the country. So certainly that. So it's the country is currently implementing policies towards the let's say the the diminution of corruption. Of course, in the environmental field, we still have many things to do. When it comes to, of course, the legislative framework, we will have to approach a lot to the European, let's say, sets of laws. So we are currently we're opening slowly all the chapters, as I previously said, with the European Union, and trying to, at least on paper, standardize as much as we can our own policies with those of the European Union in order for us to be part of the EU. So I think there's a lot of things to do, and I have a very good friend who's currently working in the ministry, and she says that they're pretty busy.
I believe that. Yeah, you talked about the ministry.
Yeah.
To the other question, someone asked, I would love to know your thoughts on the new AI MP. Could you
Yeah. So basically,
summarize what happened there?
yeah, okay. So it was, I mean, I think it took us a bit, all of us, by surprise. So it's not an MP as far as I know. It's actually a minister. So it would be an algorithm or an AI that actually is implemented in terms of public procurement. So it's also aimed at minimizing corruption. But I am a bit, I mean, critical towards it, because of course it is man-made, and of course we know that AI is not perfect. I mean, it can be tricked, it can be easily, let's say, misguided, or who sets the rules, or how transparent are those rules when it comes to choosing one tenderer as opposed to the other when it comes to public tenders. I think this also sort of pushes away accountability for certain sectors of the country when it comes to decision making, and to find ways of correctly, let's say, spending public money. So I think people are still the way to go when it comes to this. I don't think we're there yet with the AI, in my opinion. So
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of it, to
yeah,
put it that way.
yeah. We still have a few minutes for any open questions to the audience. And there is one. What are currently the most promising and the most problematic developments in Albania in a political, social, or economical sphere?
I mean, I am very much in favor of biodiversity, also when it comes to politics. So we have the same government for the fourth mandate now. So we still have the same government, which brings stability, I'm told. And it's certainly a good thing when it comes to implementing policies, especially when they're in line with the standards of the EU. But as I said, the brain drain at the moment, I think, is one of the biggest, let's say, issues in Albania, since we have a lot of young, well-educated people. We have lots of doctors that when they graduate in Albania, they usually choose another country to live, namely Germany. Most of them, they go there because it's a better paid job there, and I think they have better opportunities also when it comes to having specializations and other things. I think in terms of economical terms, we have a growing economy, since, I mean, we have lots of tourism. We have a very good, very big construction sector, which is, I mean, it has never stopped from the 1990s. We still are building a lot. I don't want to get into that, because I mean, we all a bit know how that goes when it comes to building, and especially I'm not the very much in favor personally when it comes to building a lot in nature. We have a very beautiful seaside, as I said, but unfortunately we are not very mindful of, let's say, standards when it comes to protecting nature in that sense, or building very close to nature. And we have actually now environmental organizations that are sort of putting an alarm on the next airport. We only have one we have two airports, of which One of them is fully operational, the Tirana International Airport, and the government, together with other partners, is building another one in very close to a lagoon, which it's not ideal for biodiversity, but also it can be potentially dangerous when it comes to birds living in the habitat, and they can eventually get into the engines of the planes, and they can be very dangerous. So I think we still have to do a bit of work when it comes to standardizing policies that protect nature, but also sort of don't hinder the economical development. I know that we have to develop economically, so everyone can be prosperous, or everyone can have a standard of living. Being that, well, Albania is still one of the countries in which there is one of the lowest wage, although that's growing quite rapidly, and in the eyes of everyone that the country in the last 30 years has done major progress in many fields, but it's not perfect. I mean, as everywhere else.
Yeah, I think that answers that. We could talk about it for an hour and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I don't know if
Yep.
I answered your question, Johanna. So if you have a sort of a follow up, so maybe. Ah, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, really cool. I think if there aren't any more questions, we can wrap this up for this evening. Thank you very much, Redi. It was a pleasure to hear you talk about Albania. Thank you to our team from Europe Direct and the Karlspreis Stiftung in the background, Karina, Rebecca, and Lea. Really great job today. We are now almost 20 people. That's quite a nice result for today. If you want to be part of the next event, you can keep informed on our website. Yeah, I wish everyone a nice Wednesday evening, and sure hope you all enjoy the beginning of the spooky season in October. Yeah, I wish you good luck and goodbye.
Bye bye. Thank you.